Good day, everyone, especially to Dr. Craig Refujo, Research 602 Professor, and to our panelists, our ever dynamic panelists. We are going to present to you our research proposal entitled Difficulties Encountered by Secondary Teachers of Bae City National High School in Writing Self-Learning Materials. Together with me is Ma'am Mary Ann Lindayao. So, Chapter 1, The Problem and its Scope, the Introduction. Pokril and Chitri 2021 stressed that the COVID-19 pandemic has created the largest disruption of education systems in human history, affecting nearly 1.6 billion learners in more than 200 countries. Closures of schools, institutions, and other learning spaces have impacted more than 94% of the world's student population. This has brought far reaching changes in all aspects of our lives. Social distancing and restrictive movement policies have significantly disturbed traditional educational practices. Reopening of schools after relaxation of restriction is another challenge with many new standard operating procedures put in place. Within a short span of the COVID-19 pandemic, many researchers have shared their works on teaching and learning in different ways. Several schools, colleges, and universities have discontinued face-to-face teachings. There was a fear of losing 2020 academic year or even more in the coming future. The need of the hour is to innovate and implement alternative educational system and assessment strategies. The COVID-19 pandemic has provided us with an opportunity to pave the way for introducing digital learning, according to Pokril and Chitri 2021. In response to this, according to DepEd Region 3 2020, the Department of Education will provide self-learning modules or SLMs with the alternative learning delivery modalities to be offered for various types of learners across the country. The integration of SLMs with the alternative learning delivery modalities like modular, television-based, radio-based instruction, blended, and online will help DepEd ensure that all learners have access to quality basic education for school year 2020-21, with the face-to-face classes still prohibited due to the public health situation. The SLMs and other alternative learning delivery modalities are in place to address the needs, situations, and resources of each and every learner and will cover all the bases in ensuring the basic education will be accessible amid the present crisis posed by COVID-19. This is according to DepEd Secretary Leonor Briones said. Despite the effects of COVID-19 pandemic, Department of Education ensures the continuation of educational system in the country. The department has formulated ways and adapted several alternative delivery modalities and printed self-learning materials is one of the alternative modalities. But the department cannot do this alone. The department needs teachers' engagement in module writing. The Teachers Dignity Coalition, or the TDC, in a statement issued on July 6, claimed that among pressing concerns pointed out by teachers in the field is the need for them to create modules for the implementation of blended or distance learning when specialists from DepEd should be doing this. That is according to Maliput 2020 in the Manila Bulletin News. With the statement above, how do teachers cope up with module writing? What difficulties have they encountered in the formulation of self-learning modules based on the most essential learning competencies, and how did they overcome these difficulties? These questions will be answered in this research. The findings of this study will be the basis for the development of training design, which will help teachers fully enhance their knowledge and skills in module writing. So that is the introduction of our research proposal, and this is the statement of the problem. So this study aims to investigate the difficulties encountered by the secondary school teachers of Bae City High School in writing self-learning modules with an end view of training design. In particular, this study sought to answer the following question. First question is, what is the profile of the respondent in terms of age, sex, length of service, area of specialization, teaching position? Number two, what are the difficulties encountered by the respondents? Third, what is the level of difficulty of the response in question number two? Fourth, what are the strategies employed by the respondent to overcome the difficulties, and what training design can be developed on the findings. Significance of the study. So the findings of this study can benefit the following: the students. They will be given self-learning materials that are smart, which will help them gain appropriate knowledge and skills that is applicable to real-life situations. Teacher writers. They will be given the opportunity to express the difficulties they have encountered and share the strategies they employ to overcome the difficulties. As a result, appropriate learning opportunities based on the resulting training design will fully enhance their knowledge and skills in writing smart self-learning materials. School administrators. The resulting training design of this study may be utilized to address the difficulties of teacher writers, thus producing teacher writers that are knowledgeable and highly skilled in writing smart self-learning materials. For the researchers, this study can be used as referrals and basis to researchers with similar studies. Overall, this study is treated significant because the teacher writers' difficulties and the strategies they employ to overcome the difficulties will be evaluated to formulate a training design which will fully enhance the knowledge and skills of teacher writers in writing smart self-learning materials that would prepare students long-term in coping real-life situations. For the theoretical framework of this study is anchored on the progressivism theory, which asserts that change, as a process of transformation, is inevitable and enduring forces and is the essence of reality. Progressivism, in its natural state, views education as a process of development. Hence, it must be ready to modify methods and policies to conform to the new knowledge and changes in the environment. Progressivism emphasizes on the concept of progress, which asserts that human beings are capable of improving and perfecting their environment. The curriculum should be derived from the needs and interests of the learners. Effective methods of teaching and effective education is one that provides the learners with a future better plan than the past. That is according to Tulio 2008, page 144. Because of the effects brought about the COVID-19 virus to the educational system, teachers must cope up and adapt to the change and overcome problems that may arise in their chosen field. According to John Dewey on his instrumentalism philosophy, the various forms of human activity are instruments by a man to solve his problems. So this is the conceptual framework of our study. Stated here at the first box is our problem, difficulties encountered by secondary school teachers of Bae City National High School in writing self-learning materials. And the next step is to give survey questions to the target respondents. And the content of our survey question are the following: the respondent's profile, the questions asked, problems encountered in writing smart self-learning materials, and the strategies in overcome those challenges. And the results and findings will give us what to do on the findings will give us what training design is suited for the respondents. And that will be all for my part. I will give now the floor to Ma'am Mary Ann Lindayao for the related literature up to the last part of our research proposal. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for listening. This has been your author of this research proposal, Ma'am Ninalyn Sarabia Anenyon Zerna.
Hello everyone, my name is Mary Ann Lindayo. I am a Master's of Arts in Vocational Education student, and I am here to present the difficulties encountered by secondary school teachers of Bae City National High School in writing self-learning modules. Together with my partner, Ma'am Ninalyn Zerna, a Master of Arts in Science teaching student, we are going to present to you the difficulties encountered of secondary school teachers of Bae City National High School in writing self-learning modules. For the related literature, Sikera 2017 stated that the self-learning modules are specially written with a particular course objectives in mind. Further, these are structured in such a way that students can learn from these modules themselves. The modules must provide all functional help which normally a teacher would provide in a conventional situation. Example, guiding, motivating, explaining, provoking, reminding, evaluating, progress learning, discussing answers to questions, and enriching students with his experiences. So, according to Brown, as cited by Rahayuning C. 2016, materials can be defined as a systematic description of the techniques and exercises to be used in the classroom teaching. Moreover, he stated that materials can come from three stages, which are adopting, developing, and adapting materials. For the research methodology, this portion presents the research design, instruments used for gathering the data, then the environment, the research respondents, and the research procedures, and as well as the statistical treatment used in gathering the data. For our research design, the study will be using quantitative research, survey, and a descriptive research design. It is a survey where questionnaires will be given to the secondary school teachers of Bai City National High School who are self-learning modules writers. So these survey questionnaires are stated in English, which will be asking the demographic profile of the teachers, and as well as a 5-point Likert scale is used in composing the statements and the difficulties encountered and the level of difficulties and the strategies employed to overcome the difficulties. And the questionnaires will be collected and the responses will be interpreted and analyzed to derive on the difficulties encountered by secondary school teachers of Bai City National High School and how they overcome those difficulties. For our research instrument, the survey questionnaire will be used to be able to gather the desired data for this study, and the survey questionnaire is composed of survey questions to assess the respondent's profile, the difficulties encountered, and the strategies of overcoming those difficulties. For the research environment, the study will be conducted at Bai City National High School, Bai City, Negros Oriental. The research respondents will be the teachers of Bai City National High School who are module writers of the school year 2020-2021. The data gathering procedures where the survey questionnaires will be given to the respondents, so the respondents will then be given a specific time span to answer the questionnaires. And after the allotted time span, the answered surveys with questionnaires will be gathered by the researchers and the data will be interpreted and analyzed, and the results and the findings will be the basis in creating a training design that will help enhance the knowledge and skills of the teacher writers in writing smart self-learning materials. The statistical treatment. So these are the following statistical tools that will be used in the treatment of the data. So first is the percentage, where this shows how the part is related to a whole, and it will be used in presenting the profile of the self-learning module teacher writers. Frequency. This statistical tool will be used to determine the typicality of the responses, which each of the indicators of the identified components. Weighted mean, mu. This will be used to identify the teacher's level of difficulty encountered in writing the self-learning modules. So here, a 5-point Likert scale will be used, and the data of quantitative research questions will be treated with descriptive statistics, and demographic profile or informations will be also integrated. So to interpret the difficulty experienced by the teacher, so the researchers, or we, the researchers, will refer to this table. So we have a scale of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 with its range computed, with a verbal description of very high, moderate, low, and very low. So with a corresponding explanation with a degree of difficulty, which example, the degree of difficulty when the scale is 5 is the difficulty in writing self-learning module is only at 81 to 100%, down to the degree of difficulty in writing self-learning module in about 1 to 20% only. So also a Pearson product moment coefficient of correlation is also used. So we will use this to identify the relationship between the degree of the difficulty and the profile of the teacher. So to interpret, so we will be basing it in the table. So here it is presented that from positive or negative 1, so we have a perfect correlation down to the negligible correlation. So for our operational definition of terms, so we define difficulty as limited only to problems faced by teachers involved in the formulation of the self-learning modules. Distance learning modality, which is the mode of learning delivery during the COVID-19 pandemic. MELCs, these are the most essential learning competencies, which are simplified learning competencies that suits the learner's needs during the pandemic. Module writing is the stage where teachers are directed to write and formulate a simplified learning discussions and activities for the learners and to answer. And the COVID-19 pandemic is the current health dilemma that the teachers and learners faced with regards to teaching and learning process. So the self-learning module or SLM, these are the materials which is used in the distance learning modality to developed by the teachers based on the prescribed competencies by the Department of Education. So teacher writers, these are the teachers who are involved in the formulation of the self-learning modules. So here are our references while gathering the data. And lastly, thank you so much for listening. Once again, good day.